Hello everyone, my name is PMDkat and today I will be explaining how to speedrun Minecraft Java Edition for version 1.16+. I strongly believe that anyone who watches this video can beat the Ender Dragon in under an hour if they do a little practice. I've been speedrunning for around 3 to 4 months now and my personal best, or PB, is 23 minutes and 8 seconds, which isn't professional by any means, but it's still decent. In this video we'll talk about what you need to speedrun, the individual segments of a speedrun, and a bunch of tips and tricks. If you enjoy this video and want more speedrun content, please make sure you hit that subscribe button right beneath the video. Let's get into it! Before you even start speedrunning, there are some things you need to do. Please make sure you are speedrunning on version 1.16.1, not version 1.16.5. This is because after 1.16.1, Mojang made it way harder to get ender pearls through piglin trading. In 1.16.1, it's roughly a 5% chance to get pearls. In 1.16.2 and later versions, it is roughly a 1% chance. Also, there just aren't any brutes in 1.16.1, which makes looting a bastion much easier if you choose to do it. To change your version to 1.16.1, simply open up the launcher, go to Installations, and click New Installation. Click on Version and go to Release 1.16.1. Now click Create. Now you can click back onto the Play tab, go down here and change your version until it says 1.16.1, and it should look like this, and then you can go ahead and click Play. If you want a timer to use, I would recommend LiveSplit. Head over to livesplit.org, linked in the description, and go to Downloads. Now download the latest version. Run the LiveSplit application that has this logo and the timer should open. You can now right click on the timer and press Edit Splits or Edit Layout to mess around with the layout and see what you would like. Splits are basically different legs of a speedrun where you can show, for example, your time in the Overworld, your time in the Nether. It's not necessary, but it can add more fun to the run. You can also go ahead and change some of the settings. The Start Split hotkey is what you use to start your timer. This is what I use. The only other really important one is Pause, which you can use to pause or end the run. If you choose to use splits, you can look into these ones. So when you spawn in the Overworld, your mission is to get into the Nether as quickly as possible. In this section, I will only talk about village strats, as shipwreck strats are viable, but will often leave you with little to no food and are mainly done by better speedrunners to try and get a faster time. I will likely cover this in a future video on how to get a sub 30 speedrun. There are 4 different types of villages and each is different. There are plains, as you can see here, desert, acacia, and spruce. If you see an abandoned village, it will most likely be a reset unless there is an amazing blacksmith, because you need the iron from the golem that doesn't spawn in abandoned villages. I would recommend making new worlds and resetting until you get a village. The first thing you should do when you see a village is look for a blacksmith. They look like this. If there is a blacksmith, loot it like this. Mine these 2 wooden blocks here. And look at the chest. You will want to take any iron, food, and armor that is in the chest. If you have 3 iron, which is enough to make a pickaxe, or straight up an iron pickaxe, use your wood that you got to make a crafting table, and then the rest of it to make sticks, like so. Now, make your iron pickaxe, or if you already have one, go ahead and mine 6 cobblestone. Now that you have your 6 extra cobblestone, you can make your tools like so, which will give you an axe, pickaxe, shovel, and hoe. And now you're ready to go and loot the rest of the village. If there is no blacksmith, you should get 4 wooden logs, and then make a crafting table, and 3 lots of sticks. Now make a wooden pickaxe, and mine 9 stone. Now you can use your sticks to make a pickaxe, an axe, a hoe, and a shovel. Then you can pick up your crafting table, and I like to grab an additional 4 logs from the other side of the house, just to be safe. If you can be bothered learning how to one cycle, you can go ahead and steal all of the beds. I don't think it's necessary for a sub 1 hour run, but it can certainly help. Even just 10 minutes of practice can help a lot, but I'll touch more on this later. Especially when you're just starting out, it's a good idea to get 9 beds or as many as the village has. Don't stress if you don't get too many, because you'll get string from piglin trades later that you can use to make more beds. Whilst you're running between houses, use your hoe to break the hay bales. For a sub 1 hour pace, you should be looking to grab around 20 hay bales, but you'll learn how many you need the more you speedrun. To kill the iron golem, make sure you're in a relatively flat area and hit him once with your stone axe, run away, and then block up 3 times using either wood or the hay bales. Be careful, because if there are blocks that he can get on top of like this that are near your tower, he will be able to hit you if you go close enough to him. Now you want to make sure that you are hitting him whilst you are falling down and whilst the little sword bar underneath the crosshair is full, like so. Okay, now he will drop between 3 and 5 iron. Another thing to note is that if you're lucky enough to find 3 emeralds from a chest in a village, you can make a barrel and trade with the villagers for a bucket. You craft a barrel by making slabs, and like so. Now find a villager without a job, or find one that does have a job, but destroy whatever block gives them the job, and place the barrel near them. This will give them the job, and there is a 50% chance that you will get this trade. Sometimes you will not get the trade, and if that happens, just break the barrel and place it again until he gets the roll, and you'll be able to re-roll the trade. You should now look to enter the Nether. I like to first try and find a body of water or a river. This is because you need to find gravel to get flint for a flint and steel. So once you have your flint, you're ready to start crafting. Use your iron to make a bucket first, and then a flint and steel next if you have enough. Save any additional iron you may have for now. Fill up your bucket, and now you can either look for a surface lava pool, or alternatively, mine straight down to Y12. If you only had enough iron for a water bucket, then it's a good idea to mine down. I know it goes against everything you've ever been taught, but believe me, there is nothing wrong with mining straight down in a speedrun. If you didn't have enough to make a flint and steel, then it's a good idea to grab any iron that you find on the way down. Now that we're at Y12, break one block like this, place the water on top of yourself, and sprint whilst moving forward to enter swimming formation, in which you can fit inside of a 1x1 hole. Collect your water back up, and you are ready to start strip mining. Use the subtitles in the bottom right to guide you. If you can see lava pops down there, you should head in that direction. Now eventually you'll find a lava pool resembling this. So the first thing you need to do is find a 4 block wide long section of lava. So you can see here, 1, 2, 3, 4. This is 4 blocks of lava here. On one of the 2 middle blocks, place a solid block, and then on the other one, place your water bucket. Now mine out the other one. Now you will need to make this formation. Place 2 blocks like this on the left side, and then go up 3 blocks and out 1 on the right side. Now pick up your water bucket and place it right here. Also, before you do that, it's a good idea to place cobblestone in these 3 places so that when you place the water, it does not go running everywhere. Now you can collect lava from the lava pool and place it on top of the existing obsidian to make a nether portal shape, like I'm doing here. Make sure that you look at the bottom and see if that needs any lava as well. Now you can collect your water from where you placed it, wait in the portal, and use your flint and steel to light it. And you are successfully entering the Nether. Now that you're in the Nether, try and remember your portal coordinates, and you should look for gold ore like this and try to mine it until you have enough for 36 gold ingots, whilst also avoiding piglins like this. Once you have your 36 nuggets, you can turn them into blocks and use them to make golden boots and wear them. This will make sure that the hoglins don't get aggroed at you. To get a sub 1 hour time, you don't necessarily need a bastion. It's a completely valid strategy just to mine the gold that you find in the Nether, like here, here and here, and just find some piglins to trade with. The best biome for this is this one, where it's mostly red. But you should try to cover a large amount of area, as you will need to find a fortress at some point. However, be careful when you mine the gold, as if there's any hoglins like this guy hanging around when you mine it, they'll get aggroed at you and try to kill you. Ideally, you'll already have a bit of gold before you find the fortress so that you can do some trades and hopefully get a fire resistance potion. It's not necessary, but it does make killing blazers a lot easier. Also, a quick tip for trading, I like to dig a 2 deep hole and throw some gold into it so that any nearby piglins come running into it. If you can't get their attention, or there are some that are just too far away, you can place a chest and break it, and they will get aggroed towards you, but they'll take priority and go for the gold instead. Now that they're in the hole, I like to dig 2 deep on either side like this, and then a little connector like this. So what this means is that you can stand here and collect all of the materials from their trades, and throw all of your gold here. That way you collect everything from the trades, but don't collect the gold. That's all there is to basic trading. It can be done before or after going to the fortress, but the key things you're looking for is at least 16 ender pearls, which is absolutely necessary, and 10 obsidian, which isn't necessary but can help a lot. Bastions can be quite risky, but if you find a bastion and you can easily see a bunch of gold blocks, and you have an iron pickaxe and you're feeling up to the challenge, you can go and mine them, and it will save you quite a bit of time. I'll go over how to route every different type of bastion in my sub 30 video in the future. Once you find a fortress, you should try and locate the blaze spawner as quickly as possible. There are 2 parts to a fortress, a good part and a bad part. The bad part has a nether brick roof and long corridors that look like this. The good part is more open like this, but can have a roof made of basalt or netherrack. But if the walls and the roof aren't nether brick, then that means you're in the good part. The good part and the bad part are separated by the room that looks like this. It's got this little bit of lava in the middle. So if you're in the bad part, just look for this room, and if you're in the good part, just avoid going into this room. So blaze spawners can only spawn in the good part, and once you find one, you should kill blazes until you have 8 rods. Be very careful and don't be afraid to play it safe. If you already have a fire resistance potion from blaze trades, it's a good idea to use it now. It will make this step far easier. If not, do not worry, just build a wall like this, or a shield if you can, play behind it and just play safe. Make sure you eat food whenever you can as well. Once you have your 8 rods and 16 ender pearls, you are ready to leave the nether. If you don't have 10 obsidian from trades, you can head back to your original portal. However, if you do have 10 obsidian from trades, you can make a new portal. However, don't just make this portal wherever. Use this graph made by K4 and Sharpie Man and head to any of these coordinates. Note that these are reversible and can be negative. If you can't get that close, it's no stress, it's not the end of the world. Just build your portal like so and get back to the overworld. Just quickly, if you are enjoying this video and finding it useful, please make sure to subscribe. It really does make a difference and helps me out a bunch, so it would mean a lot. I also regularly speedrun over at twitch.tv/PMDkat, and watching me is a great way to learn a lot of tips and tricks. Anyways, back to the video. Now you're ready to find the end portal. The first thing to do is to use your blaze rods to make blaze powder and combine the powder and the pearls to make Eye of Ender. My advice is to be very conservative. You can throw one eye as soon as you're back in the overworld to find the direction. But after that, I would only be throwing them every 300 to 500 blocks or so. If you went back to your original portal, which is much closer to the 0, coordinates, then after your first eye, you should run at least 800 blocks before throwing another. When you do get a sudden angle change, or you can just tell that you're a lot closer, you're going to want to press F3 and G to reveal chunk borders like this. Basically, the Eyes of Ender aren't pointing to the actual portal itself, but rather the chunk where the Stronghold generates. You'll know you're in this chunk when the Eye of Ender you throw goes straight into the ground. When you're in the chunk, you want to pull up the F3 menu and look here. You're interested in the first and third value. You want to walk around and play hot and cold until those numbers are 4 and 4, which is this block right here for this chunk. Now you can mine straight down and you should fall into the starter staircase. When you fall into the staircase, you will always be met with a room like this. Now you can turn off the chunk borders. Now to navigate the Stronghold. This can be very RNG, but one thing to note is that the portal room will spawn no more than 7 rooms away from this room. So you should try and count your rooms and never stray ridiculously far from this room. If you ever get lost, a good rule of thumb is to follow the backwards doors. That is, doors that look like this instead of doors that look like this, because backwards doors will always lead you back to this starter room here. Another thing to note is that rooms like these, including the starter one, can have secret rooms behind here. This one doesn't, but it is a thing, and sometimes the portal can spawn behind there if you really don't know where else it could be. With all of this information, you should be able to locate the portal room and use your Eyes of Ender to enter the end. There are 2 ways that you can do this fight. You can kill the Ender Dragon with beds, or you can use a bow and arrow. I would strongly recommend learning to kill it with beds, even if you aren't very good at it, as even with just 10 minutes of practice you can learn to sufficiently kill the Ender Dragon with 9 beds, which is a relatively easy amount of beds to get in a run. I'm going to talk about killing the dragon with beds first. The premise of one cycling the dragon involves waiting for the Ender Dragon to perch, which means he flies above this center part of the island, and then place beds and try to sleep in them, which blows them up and does damage to the dragon. It's very important that you save either some obsidian or some crying obsidian so that you can make this shape to place the beds and do damage to the dragon. Make sure you press F3 and B to turn on the hitboxes. It's a bit hard to see at the start, but the dragon actually has a hitbox on its head, which you can see as one box with another little box inside of it, and is always at the front of the dragon. So when the dragon is perching, it'll spin around, and you want to place and blow up the bed right when the head hitbox is above the bed. This will take some practice, but stick at it, and you should see some improvement after only a couple of minutes. The best way to practice is to use a map. I'll leave a download link in the description so that you can practice. And I'll show you an example of what a 1 cycle should look like. So first you wait for the dragon to perch, and once it perches, either walk or throw an ender pearl to get into the middle of the island. You can tell it's perching because it's spinning around like this. I like to place 1 bed early and then just watch the head hitbox. Like I said, it will take a bit of getting used to, but after around 10 minutes of practice, you should be able to consistently kill it with around 8 or 9 beds. Just a couple more tips, the further you are away from the fountain, the higher chance the dragon has of perching. But be careful, because if you don't have a spare ender pearl to throw in, it might perch and you might miss your opportunity to one cycle. Also, if you pull up your F3 menu, you can see which direction you are facing. I would always recommend facing east or west when you go to one cycle, because you'll have more time to notice that it's perching. If you're facing either north or south, the dragon will perch much lower and you'll have less time to run in one cycle. Hopefully with this information and a bit of practice, you'll be able to kill the dragon and finish the run. If you can't be bothered learning how to one cycle, you can still kill the dragon with a bow and arrow. You can make your bow with string from piglin trades, and you can get arrows from the chests in bastions. However, if you don't loot a bastion, you'll have to kill a lot of chickens in the overworld and mine a lot of gravel to get your flint. This can be very time consuming, but it is still technically viable for a sub 1 hour time. Use your arrows to take out the towers first, then start shooting the dragon. If you run out of arrows, you can still block up to the towers and punch the end crystals to blow them up. And then once they're all broken, you can wait for a perch and just hit the dragon with an axe or whatever you have. Again, this will take a lot more time than one cycling, but it will eventually kill the dragon. So that's it. Again, I strongly believe that with this information and a bit of practice, you can get a sub 1 hour time. Also, make sure to like and subscribe, as it really does let me know that you enjoyed this video and would like more speedrunning content on the channel. I intend to make more tips and tricks videos, so be on the lookout for those. Thanks for watching and happy running!